TouchDAW MIDI controls. So a while back I did a video about TouchDAW, which is a program that will allow you to control your DAW wirelessly. You can also use a USB port if your tablet or phone has a USB port, but this is completely wireless over Wi-Fi. It will allow you to control your DAW, faders, pan knobs, transport, all kinds of different parameters. But there's actually another section to TouchDAW called MIDI controllers. So that's what we're going to look at today. So let's first take a look at the MIDI controllers. So we'll just hit our options key here. You'll see we'll have a keyboard, XY pad. So first let's look at our keyboard. So here's our keyboard. And here in Pro Tools, I'll bring up Mini Grand here. Here we have Mini Grand. You have your keyboard controls. Choose your octave level here. And so on. Of course you have a pitch control, so modulation, volume, so I can turn that down, nothing, turn that up, louder, your breath control there as well. Really nice, and as I said, you can choose the octave range here. There you go. Of course you can use this keyboard for more things than just the piano. So now we'll bring up another plugin. So this is vacuum here. This is a synth here. Alright, pretty cool, pretty cool. Moving on. So we'll bring up BFD2 here. Alright. And moving on further, we'll go to Geist. And I'm not sure where we're programmed at here. There we go. Alright. So that's the keyboard controller on TouchDAW. And I'll open up Geist again here. Now we'll move on to another controller, which is the YX or the XY pads here. So currently this is set up for 16 launch pads and one XY controller. And let's take a quick look at the setup. So we'll go to our setup here and we'll go to our MIDI utilities. And here we have our MIDI mapping, and you can see you can change your controller, the CC numbers and whatnot. So we'll come down to, here's our keyboard setup, and we want our XY controller / launch pads. We can change our MIDI channel. We can change how many launch pads we have. So right now it's on 4x4. You can have 3, 3, 6, 6, 8, 8. And we'll look here at what we're going to show. So we can have 2 XY controllers. We can have launch pads and 1 XY controller. We can have 2 launch pads, or we can have a thing called turmoil. So we'll take a quick look at the turmoil here. So select that and we'll go back. So then here's our turmoil grid there. So Geist is open and active right now. So now we'll open up, say, Mini Grand. Try our turmoil pad here. Alright. And you'll see here we can change our scale. Right now we have an Egyptian scale. We can go down to, say, a major pentatonic scale. So we can use this turmoil pad to control effects and things like that. Put in some weird modulation and weird automation, things like that. So we'll open up vacuum. And so on. So that's pretty cool. So we'll go back to our setup here. And we'll go back to our MIDI utilities and we'll change this back to our XY pads. And we'll choose the launch pad plus 1 XY controller. You can have 2 launch pads, but I don't really need them. And the 2 XY controllers, I don't need those either. So launch pad plus 1 XY controller will work good for me. Depending on what virtual instrument you're controlling, usually you can program things to react how you want. So this XY controller right now is controlling the mod wheel, as you can see there. Of course, you don't have to use the keyboard selection to be able to play your synth. You can use the pads as well in something like a synthesizer or a piano. And another thing about our pads, if we just click the pad, on off, if we touch the pad and slide off, the note will stay on. So if I touch the pad, if I touch and slide off, it stays on. So now we'll move on. And let's open up Mini Grand real quick again, just to show we can use our... Alright, so we'll grab BFD2, I guess. Use our drum pads here. And as I've said before, you can program the MIDI notes that are coming from TouchDAW, or program in the instrument that you're using exactly what each MIDI command controls. So we can look here at exactly what our pads are doing here. So that's kick, that's the snare on the stick, so there's a regular hit, drag, there's a rim, flam, and so on. And you can program that to your liking. So moving on, and we'll open up Geist, and we'll take a look at this. So we have some hits already loaded in Geist. Alright, so I think you get the idea that TouchDAW is more than just a DAW controller, it's also a MIDI controller. So if you want to learn more about TouchDAW, be sure to check out the link in the description. And thanks for watching.